There are more than 80 Holstein cows in this barn, and every one of them has to be milked twice a day. That means every day, 365 days a year. Cows don't care if it's Saturday, or your birthday, or Thanksgiving Day. They don't even care if it's a snowy day.
Hi, my name is Mac. Welcome to Elgin Spring Farm. Have you ever been in a dairy barn before? Well, if you want to stay with us for the next year or so, we'd like to show you some of what goes into making all that milk. Come on, let's go take a look around. Oh, I forgot to tell you, you'd better pull on some rubber boots there. Things can get kind of messy in here with all these cows. A dairy barn is no place to go walking in your sneakers, believe me.
Here come my bosses. Must be they're all done plowing snow. This is Ed Bassett and his brother, Alan.
Elgin Spring Farm is owned by the Bassetts, and I'm their hired man. We'll meet the rest of the family later on, but right now it's time to start afternoon chores. The first thing these cows need to stay healthy and make lots of milk is good feed. This is where they eat, so I guess you could say I'm washing dishes. Whoa, I guess I better get out of the way here.
Cows are vegetarians, so tonight, as usual, we're serving salad. But this is no ordinary salad. It's a very careful recipe. And luckily, we made up a big batch of it yesterday, just before this snowstorm started. First, there's corn to give the cows energy. Then we add soybeans and barley for extra protein and other nutrients. We throw in a few bags of mineral supplements and some baking soda to help the cow's digestion. We grind everything up into a coarse powder. Add high moisture ear corn from the silo. It all goes into the blue mixer. Finally, we add a big spoonful of chopped hay called haylage. And before you know it, we're filling the feed cart with a gourmet cow salad. How'd you like to eat that for dinner? Each cow has a water bowl close by so they can wash down their dinner. Would you please quit slurping? Can't you see we've got company? You may have noticed that all our cows have numbers on their ears. We tag them when they're young, and that's how we tell them apart. Another important part of chores is cleaning up. The gutter cleaner scrapes out a day's worth of manure from our cows. In the spring, all that manure and straw will be spread right back on the fields to help fertilize the soil. It's one of many ways we recycle things here on the farm. To get ready for milking, Alan rolls out the dumping station. You'll see how it works in a few minutes. But first, it's time to change the cow's sheets. Alan and his son Chris throw down fresh straw so the cows will stay clean when they lie down. Now that all the cows are fed and bedded down, it's time to start milking. There are 50 pounds of milk in this cow's udder. That's more than 6 gallons. Can you imagine carrying that much milk? Well, as you can see, she can't hold it much longer. Hang on, girl. We're gonna milk you. No, not like that, Earl. Earl is Ed and Alan's father. He and his dad used to milk cows by hand, and Earl is still good at it. But if we tried to milk this whole barn full of cows by hand, we'd be here all night. We use these milking machines, which make the work go a lot faster. Some dairy farms have even more modern systems, but these pails work fine for us. The milking machine gently squeezes the milk out of the cow. When the cow's udder is empty, we pour the milk into this dumping station. Then a pump sucks it through this tubing into the bulk tank. Where it's filtered and cooled down to 36 degrees to keep it fresh. As you can see, some of our Holsteins are black and white, and some of them are red and white. But they all make the same color milk. That round ball floating in the milk helps keep the pump from sucking air through the pipe when there's no milk in the dumping station. In case you're wondering how we keep the barn warm on such a cold, snowy day, here's your answer. That's right, cows. These Holsteins generate a lot of heat, enough to keep the whole barn warm, even in the coldest weather. Now it's time to visit the Elgin Spring Farm nursery and feed the calves. Alan's wife, Debbie, and Ed's kids, Ashley and Taylor, get right into their work. Most cows give birth to a baby calf about once a year, and that's why they keep making milk. This is moving day for some of our calves. When they get big enough, we move them out of the pen into stalls way down on the other end of the barn. Well, it looks like they're almost done milking. Come on, let's go help finish up. All the milking machinery needs to be carefully cleaned before we can leave the barn for the night. There we go, all ready for chores tomorrow morning. Well, that's all for tonight. Thanks for your help. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning, okay? Well, there you are. Good morning. You slept right through morning chores. I tried to wake you, but you were pretty sleepy. Don't worry about it. You didn't miss a whole lot. We just did pretty much the same thing we did last night anyway. Only this time we had to start at 4 o'clock in the morning. I know, that sounds awful early, but see, we have to milk these cows every 12 hours. So if we do chores at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we have to start again at 4 o'clock the next morning. So we go to bed pretty early here on the farm. Well, at least you're up in time to see the milk truck. Here it comes now. George is our milk truck driver. He comes to our farm every day. Our milk is shipped all the way to Massachusetts, where most of it is bottled and sold as fluid milk, although some of it might be made into cheese or even ice cream. Everybody works hard on the farm, but we always make sure there's time to play, too. It's Saturday, and we're having a neighborhood sledding party. Winter is also the best time to do things indoors. This is Earl's wife, Ramon. She's working on a quilt for her grandson's birthday. Her friend Dorothy is helping her attach the batting. That's going to make an awful nice birthday present. Winter doesn't last forever, even here in Vermont. On the first warm days, the maple sap begins to run.
Have you ever had real maple syrup? Maybe on pancakes or ice cream? Well, hop in. Let's go visit some friends of mine and see how it's made.
This farm belongs to the Russells, and they still do all their maple sugaring with horses. It can take up to 40 gallons of sap from these maple trees to make just 1 gallon of maple syrup. But first, we have to get all this sap in from the woods to the sugar house. Here in the sugar house, they boil the sap to evaporate off the water. And what's left is that delicious maple syrup.
Now you might think that spring is what comes after winter, but here in Vermont we call it mud season.
Early spring is the time when we have to get our machinery ready for planting. Who is that welding? Oh, it's Alan. But what happened to his beard? Now there's another sure sign of warm weather. Earl and Alan have both shaved off their winter beards.
Spring is when things really start to get busy around here. So hang on to your hats, because here we go.
First, we plow the soil to turn it over. Next, we go over it with the disc harrows and spring tooth harrows to break it down into smaller clumps. Then we go over the fields once more with these cultimulches to smooth out the soil for planting. With the fields all prepared, we begin planting. We start by putting barley in the grain drill with some alfalfa mixed in. We also plant corn and sow soybeans. Fertilizer goes in the corn planter to be put right in the ground with the corn seed. Uh-oh, it looks like we caught somebody sleeping on the job.
Well, we're finally done planting. More than 500 acres. Now it must be time for a break, right?
Wrong.
Summer is here, the sun is shining, and it's time for us to start making hay. This big machine is called a windrower. It cuts down the alfalfa and leaves it in a nice row. We have 500 acres of land in hay, and we take 3 crops off it every year. How'd you like to have a lawnmower this big? Here come the choppers. That's Francis LaFerrier on the tractor, helping us out with haying. The first crop of hay all gets chopped and carried to the bunk silo in wagons. That's a big pile of haylage. In fact, we grow so much hay and other crops that we always have plenty left over to sell to other farmers who might not have enough. When we're all done with our first cutting of hay and the bunk is full, we cover it with plastic so the haylage won't get wet and spoil. Then we cover the whole thing with lots of old tires to keep the plastic from blowing off. Of course, tires are good for other things too. But what's this one for? Oh, it's Taylor's younger brother, Logan. While we've been haying, our other crops have been growing fast in the warm summer sun. Hey, look who's coming. It's Dr. Poulsen, one of our veterinarians. Sometimes cows need health care, just like people do, and veterinarians still make barn calls. She's giving these calves nasal spray vaccines so they won't get pneumonia. See, that wasn't so bad. This cow just had a calf. Ashley helps Dr. Poulsen check her over to see how she's doing. Looks like she's okay. From here, Dr. Poulsen will go on to somebody else's farm to take care of their cows, or horses, or sheep, or just about any other farm animal you can imagine. The hay's growing so fast, it's already time for our second cutting. This time we're going to dry the hay and put it in bales. The tedder spreads out the hay and helps it dry in the sun. Then we rake it into rows so it can be picked up by the baling. We call these square bales, even though they're not exactly square. We also make round bales. We'll pick them up later with a tractor. As you can see, it's easier to load a hay wagon than it is to unload it. It gets mighty hot up there in the middle of the summer, but we find ways to cool off.
See Mac anywhere?
Yes, I saw him down there just a little while ago where you were haying.
I wonder what he's doing. He's trying to get out of work again. Mac! Uh-oh.
You guys looking for me? Here on Elgin Spring Farm, we spend most of our time working in the field, but we do have woodlots too. This summer we've hired Charlie Lee, a logger, to help us harvest a different kind of crop. Charlie and his men are careful to select only the mature trees, leaving plenty of young ones to replenish the forest. The skidder drags the trees out of the woods to the landing. You can't pick these logs up by hand, so they use a cherry picker to load them on the truck. These big hardwoods will be trucked to the mill to be sawed into lumber. We need lots of sunshine for all our hay and crops to grow, but we need plenty of rain too. So far this year, we've had just the right amount of each, and the crops are growing well. No way! I'm not jumping from up there.
Your hat, your hat,
There's a lot of work to do in the summer, but there's always time for swimming. Summer is also the time when Ashley, Taylor, and Logan's mom, Melanie, takes them to the county fair. Melanie works off the farm in a doctor's office. Logan and his friend Nick like the animals, and everybody likes the rides. Even the grown-ups take some time off when we have a family reunion. Our barn cats are pretty shy with most people, but Ashley and Debbie and Alan's daughter Melissa are good at making friends. Of all the seasons, summer seems to go by fastest. Maybe it's because there's so much to do. The days are already starting to get shorter now. And barley is the first of our field crops to be ready for harvest. This big machine is called a combine. It takes only the grain and leaves the straw behind. We'll pick up the straw later with a chopper to use for bedding. Before you know it, summer is over, and it's time for the kids to go back to school. But work on the farm continues. Every day, from spring through fall, there's another load of manure to be spread on the fields. There's a third cut of hay to bring in. Vegetables to harvest from the garden. Firewood to be cut for another cold winter ahead. All the leaves on the trees start to change color. And Alan's got an early start on his winter beard. This fall also finds Chris joining Melissa, going off to college. But most of all, here on the farm, fall is time for harvesting. Here come the combines again. We've already harvested the barley, you remember, but there's still corn and soybeans waiting in the fields.
It's been a good year here on Elgin Spring Farm. The crops are finally in, and it looks like we might be in for our first snowstorm of the season. We've enjoyed having you around to help us, and we hope now maybe you'll get out to visit and learn about some of the farms near where you live. Well, it's 4 o'clock, and you know what that means. Okay, I'm coming. So, thanks for joining us, and don't you be a stranger now, okay?